Good afternoon, gamers, ghouls, and everyone else in the cosmos. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Today, I am doing a bit of a different video. I gotta put that up front. This is not gonna be a gameplay video. This is not gonna be anything like that. If you know me, I tend to be very stubborn, and I don't learn things right away, but eventually it just clicks. And once it clicks, I'm like, oh my god, I had no idea. And it doesn't matter how many times you tell me, it just has to click for me, and I don't know why. And today was that day where it clicked, okay? I realized discomfort is actually a blessing. I know, hold on. So, hear me out. The reason why I think discomfort is a blessing rather than a curse is because without discomfort, everything would be so mundane and comfortable, right? And you have to understand, my whole life, I've lived very comfortably, okay? And I can say that because, you know, I'm grateful. I was privileged. I grew up in a very easy, way. I'm just very grateful for that. I can't even comprehend some of these other people's backgrounds, right? So anything remotely discomforting would put me off. It would be like, oh no, that gives me anxiety. No, that gives me stress. I don't know if I want to do that. And so when you start to back out of those things, you start to lose options. You start to close the doors on things that you have no idea that you would. And before you know it, it starts extreme, and then it starts going down to very, very simple things. Before you know it, this last week, if you've been wondering where I've been having a really hard time, okay? Maybe not the hardest in my life, but it's close. And, I made some mistakes, and I'm trying to learn from it, okay? But, I've hit a depression again, and so just getting out of bed was hard for me, right? And I found myself this morning, I found it really ironic because I was like, I don't want to get out of bed because it's cold. It's cold outside my bed, and it's warm where my bed is, right? It's discomforting to get out of my bed, but I have to, in order to start my day, I have to, whether I like it or not. Eventually, I can wait all day, and I can get up tomorrow. I can do that, but I shouldn't, right? I have that privilege right now because I'm not employed. I don't have all these other things going on, so I could do that, but that's just wasting time. And that is another thing that I kind of realized as well. It is last night I was watching anime, and say what you will about anime, but there's some pretty good wisdom in anime every now and then. And I realized in Demon Slayer season 3, it's amazing, but they had a great scene where this one Hashira, which is basically like this, high rank, like soldier, samurai, and he has no regard for the weak. He's always just thinking about, I need to protect the strongest and the best. The weak are the ones that die, right? And he realizes that because the main character tries to save everybody, and he's explaining that what you do comes around. The good that you do for others will come around. And so, without spoiling anything, if you do want to watch it, he gets into a near-death experience, and this weak kid is basically dead, and he saves the kid's life on a whim, thinking about that. And not only another episode later, the kid saves his life, and he realizes that what goes around comes around. You understand? It's such a simple concept and such a basic idea, but the way it was executed in a show, and that you just see it before your eyes, it made more sense that way, and it clicked for me. And that is when I realized that time is precious, right? I realized that with my breakup. The time I spent with her was precious, right? I decided to not play video games for days on end to stay there with her and spend time with her, because I knew that my time with her was finite. Either we would break up, we would eventually get married and die, something would happen, right? And so I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I did that, because eventually the relationship is over, right? And one way or another, that's going to be taken away from me. So I need to take understanding of that. Like, I have to, I have to, don't waste my time, is what I'm trying to say. So, back to discomfort. I've put off a lot of things in my life, right? When I was 16 and a half, I was supposed to start driving, and I put that off. I still don't have my license. I'm working on it, but I don't have my license, right? And that is because it was uncomfortable for me. And it was uncomfortable for me, and so I didn't want to do it, right? I put it off because I didn't think it was important, and I didn't think it was relevant, right? And that's, that's just the way it is. You live life, you make mistakes, and you just move on, right? But the longer it went on, the harder it became. I started struggling with more mental issues, and so the driving became, this part of this pathway of a method to give up, to put it very, very broadly for YouTube. But so I got even more scared. I didn't want to do it at all now, right? And so that went from there, and that was like, that's understandable, but I had to work through it. You have to work through your fear, and I didn't do that at all. So it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that evolves into, okay, well, doing the laundry is uncomfortable for me, so I'm not going to do the laundry. I'm just going to let it pile up. Okay, now sometimes eating in the morning's uncomfortable for me, so I'm not going to eat in the morning. And then, before you know it, you're literally you're finding yourself just doing everything that's comfortable, and you're running out of options. Like, I literally, it clicked for me because these last few days, I've been taking hot showers, and it's cold outside, but it's not terribly cold. I used to love the cold, and I still do, but something about, I don't know, just me being sick or something like that, I'm just more vulnerable to the cold right now, and so it's more discomforting for me literally just to step out of the shower and put soap on my body and then walk back into the shower, right? And that part was just cracking me up, because I'm like, I can do that. That's not a problem for me, right? Clearly I can do it, but I find myself hesitating because it's uncomfortable. So that's just all I wanted to say. I mean, I did a really poor job at explaining this, I think, but I got out what I wanted to say. And, I just want to say, if there's something uncomfortable in your life, do it, right? Not always, there's steps, there's ways, there's reasons, right? It's uncomfortable for me to rob a bank, and I don't tell you to go rob a bank. I'm not going to rob a bank. I hope I never rob a bank. If I do rob a bank, I owe society a lot, and I owe time and penalties, right? But, there's a reason why that's uncomfortable, because it's, for me, it's morally incorrect. It's, it's against the law. It's all these other things. But, eating a new cheeseburger, right? That's slightly uncomfortable, but I have no problem doing that. But, when I was a kid, I wouldn't want to do that. And that's kind of part of growing up, is you have to understand that small little decisions become big things and evolve into big things. So anyway, let me know if you thought that was good advice, if that is anything you, thought about or anything like that. You can let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I'm going to leave the comments open and everything, but, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it cracks me up, because it's like basic stuff like this, and then it just clicks. Like, I'm 22 years old, and this just now clicked. Like, I don't... Boy, oh boy. Like, what do I have in store for the rest of my life? I don't even know. Man. If this is what I have to figure out at 22, then what do I have to figure out in, 80? Anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me hear your thoughts on this, and stay tuned, everybody. Peace out. Oh, and last comment. I'm kind of looking at it differently now, where I'm kind of like, obviously I still don't want to do things that are uncomfortable, but I have this mindset now where it's like, bring it on. Make it as uncomfortable as it's going to be, because I don't care anymore, right? There's so many things I need to do right now that I'm just going to have to do, and it's going to be uncomfortable. So just bring it on. Make it my worst nightmare. I will endure it. I can get through it because I know I will, and I have, right? Everybody else has. So